Hey class, as promised, here is the video that's a walkthrough of our Canvas for our course as well as the textbook. So here you see the welcome video that you hopefully just watched recently, the syllabus with the schedule, and then this is the video you're watching right now. It's trippy that it's already there, isn't it? Here you've got the get started with the textbook situation. So we'll get to that in a few minutes here. You do have a check-in assignment that I need you to do, and that is so I can get to know you a little bit and you all can get to know each other a little bit, but also so I can make sure that you are present and participating in the course so I don't have to drop you. So please make sure you complete that. That is due this coming Thursday, September 1st. Everything else in this class is going to be due on a Sunday. Except for that one assignment. And this also, by the way, is the only assignment that's in Canvas. Every other assignment I need you to do is in the textbook. We also have a helpful materials section here. You've got the metacognitive reading logs. That's a assignment that you're going to be doing most weeks of the semester based on the reading for the week. So there's a video here describing specifically what I want you to do with that. There is, and then some other materials here to help you with that. Please check out the MLog video so that you know what's expected. And then we've got a lot of stuff here that has to do with the writing process. So there's a video going over the writing process as a whole. The body paragraph and the video for body paragraph structure and progression, those are really important videos. You may feel relatively comfortable with how you write a body paragraph. You may be confident, you may lack confidence. Wherever you're at with that, I promise if you do body paragraphs in the structure that I'm asking you to do them, your body paragraphs are going to turn out fantastic. So I'm really going to encourage you and harp on you about doing body paragraphs the way that I ask you to do them. And I can promise you that if you do your body paragraphs that way, they will work regardless of what you're writing a body paragraph for, whether it's this class or other classes or on into the future. There's also a very specific way that I want you to do outlines, which is demonstrated in this document and discussed in depth in this video. So please make sure you're doing outlines the way that I'm asking you to. Again, the reason I ask you to do outlines this way is because it works and it will help you write really good papers. Again, not only for this class, but any other class that you have to write a paper for. And there's also a video talking about how you go from the outline stage to the draft stage when you actually write your paper. And because I know students tend to stress out about intro and conclusion paragraphs, I have this video here talking about those. It was actually a Zoom session in which a student asked me some advice on how to write intro and conclusion. And I gave a very detailed and kind of long answer, and I decided to clip that out and have it available for all of my students. And lastly, in the helpful materials section, this is how you can get in touch with me, or a couple of the ways. As mentioned in the welcome video, I've got my office hours on campus listed in this document. You can also, if you're ever on campus, you can come to my office hours. You can also book a Zoom meeting with me, and again, sending me a message through Canvas or shooting me an email are other good ways to get a hold of me. And then the class is pretty much just set up, pretty simply as far as Canvas goes. Each week there's the that week's info, and that basically just tells you what concepts we're covering, what readings you need to do, or tutorials, videos, presentations, anything like that, and then the assignments that are due by Sunday. And so that's reflected in each week. That information is also on the schedule here in the syllabus and schedule. And then for each week, I give you the link to the textbook. Any one of these links takes you to the same place, but I figure, if you're down here in week 6 and you just looked at the week 6 info, it's easier to just click on the link here than scroll back up to the top and, click on it up here or something like that. So just to make it a little bit easier for you. Speaking of the textbook, let's talk about that. There is one way and one way only that I want you to get into the textbook for the first time, to make sure that you get linked up with the right class and everything. Please do not try to do it any way other than this, which is to click on this link. When you click on this link, you'll get this message to load in a new window. Now, when you click on this link, you're going to see something a little bit different than what you're going to see here. I already have access to the textbook, so it's just going to take me to the textbook. When you click on that link, you are going to be prompted to create a Macmillan account if you don't have one already. And then you will be prompted to pay for your access to the textbook. You'll get 2 major options there. One is to just pay for access right through that link. The other is to enter an access code. The access code is something that you would purchase from the bookstore. It's basically the same thing. It's just you're purchasing the access code through the bookstore or somewhere else, as opposed to paying for it online through Macmillan. There is a third option, and that's going to be in smaller print in like a hyperlink. And that option is to get free access to the textbook for 2 weeks. So if you're not quite ready to pay for the textbook yet, or you're waiting for a paycheck or something along those lines, that is a good way to get it, or you're waiting for your book voucher, that's another one. That's a good way to get into the textbook and not fall behind in the class while you're waiting to be able to purchase the textbook. So that might be a useful option for some of you. Either way, all of you have the ability to jump into the textbook right away, which you will need to do. So you'll see this week, we're after midnight now to pull the curtain back. You'll see this week the assignments that are due. Now let me just say that it looks like a lot of stuff that I'm asking you to do. It's not as much as it looks like. Okay, you've got your chapter. By the way, the week info and the schedule will say read chapter 1, read chapter 2, things like that. Here you're just going to see the introduction. So when you click on that, you are going to have to click through and read the chapter. So there's that, but there's also each of these other ones where we have like an author and a title. These are arguments that other people have written that were published in the textbook. And they're just good, thought-provoking arguments for you to read. Each one of them, or almost all of them, has a quiz attached to it. Real short, simple quiz. You get 10 points for each one, so those are easy points. It's not just a little bit of work. There's definitely, work that I'm asking you to do, but it's not as much as it looks like. Each one of these individual things is, an individual reading, an individual quiz, individual reading, things like that. So please try not to freak out about that too much. I mentioned the metacognitive reading logs, so those you will see here when they're due each week. Those are in the I put those in the textbook to keep everything in the same place and make it easy for you. And here's something I want to show you. So assignments is the main page that gives you your weekly look. Like, this is what's due this week, this is what's due next week. Obviously, when we get to next week, this will be, in the this week section, so on and so forth. So this is a good place to keep things. But if you're ever looking for something specific by assignment as opposed to trying to sort through the weeks, you can click this little drop down menu and click resource type, and that'll split everything up by what it is. So these are your papers, the readings are all in here, the smaller assignments are all in here, and there's two other things here that I want to talk to you about, or I want to come back to the papers, and I also want to talk to you about diagnostic. So with papers, these are going to be in your weekly, so you don't have to come here to get to your papers. They'll be in your weekly assignments. But when you click on the paper, you will see a prompt that tells you what I want you to do, all the good information, a sample outline that I've written as if I was writing the paper along with you, which hopefully is helpful. And then this is really important. Draft 1, I'm not able to change this title, unfortunately. If I could, I would change it to outline, because draft 1 for all 4 papers that you're writing in this class, draft 1 is your outline for the paper. It's in the instructions here. It is your outline, not a written out draft. Okay? So please, really take that to heart. It's the outline for the paper. And then your final paper will be turned in the same area. There's a rubric to give you an idea of the things I'm looking for. So again, hopefully that's relatively easy to understand. And this view shows you when the outline is due and when the final draft is due for each paper. The other thing is the diagnostic. This is one of the reasons I love this particular textbook. And basically there's 4 areas: punctuation, style, mechanics, sentence grammar, reading skills, and reading strategies. And what you do is you take a practice test, and that practice test for each of those 4 things is due at the end of the week, this first week. And the practice test, you'll get full credit as long as you complete the test. What that does is it tells the system the areas where you have your strengths and the areas where you need improvement. And based on the results, the system actually creates a study plan specific to your individual needs. So the areas that you need the most improvement, the study plan is going to be geared toward those areas. And then you'll work on the study plan over the course of the semester in those 4 areas. They're due December 4th. You'll get access to it as soon as you're done with your practice test. And then they'll be due December 4th. So you'll be working on them over the course of the semester. I've put little reminders on the week info and the schedule on the syllabus to hopefully remind you to be working on those. And then at the end, once you've completed your study plan, you'll be able to take a final test to see, how much you've grown through the study plan. So real cool thing, and it helps you out in some really important areas. So that's pretty much it as far as the textbook goes. One other thing I want to mention about Canvas: if you happen to use the Canvas app on a smartphone or a tablet, please always click on modules. A lot of times students will click on assignments. Well, if you notice, if you click on assignments, you're not going to get much. There's not much here for you. Most of the assignments are in the textbook. If you click on modules, that's what shows you all of the materials that I have for you, all the information, gives you, the weekly info, all that good stuff. So just as a tip, if you're ever using the Canvas app, please click on modules when you're using the app, not any of the other options. All right, I think that does it for the walkthrough for Canvas and the textbook. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.